Who helps and whom do they help? Let's start with the variables that predict who will exhibit prosocial behaviors. There's some evidence that people who are more helpful in one situation are more helpful in other situations too. That is, helpful people tend to be helpful across situations. This tendency is relatively stable over time. Some longitudinal studies have found that helpful preschoolers tend to grow up to be helpful adults, and this tendency may be, in part, genetically based. Researchers have produced evidence that identical twins, who share about 99% of their DNA, are more similar in their helpfulness than fraternal twins, who share about 50% of their DNA. However, researchers have been unable to identify specific personal qualities, other than being helpful in general, that predict helping behavior across all situations. They've had more success in identifying the variables that predict prosocial behavior in certain situations. Here are some of those variables. People who are agreeable, humble, and empathetic, as you probably guessed, tend to be more helpful in some situations than people who score low in these areas. In addition, those who have an advanced level of moral reasoning are better able to take others' needs into account when making decisions that affect others. Now let's cover the variables that predict who will receive help. First, we tend to help people we perceive to be physically and interpersonally attractive over people who are not. An interesting study done a few decades ago when hitchhiking was still commonplace found that hitchhikers who were attractive, smiling, and had blonde wig were more likely to catch a ride than those who were less attractive, not smiling, and wore a brunette wig. One explanation is that helping them may lead to the establishment of some kind of relationship with them. Second, we help people who are personally not responsible for needing help over people who we think created their unfortunate circumstances. We might take notes for a sick classmate, but not for someone who admitted to simply skipping class to take a nap, or consider lung cancer survivors. If we know the survivor smoked their entire life, we're less likely to help them than a survivor whose lung cancer was caused by factors beyond their control, like asbestos or secondhand smoke. Third, we help people with whom we have at least some type of relationship, from acquaintances to friends to family members to partners, both communal and exchange relationships. Fourth, we help people who are similar to us in relevant ways. Or fifth, those who are part of our in-group. Finally, although there's no gender differences in terms of who offers to help others across situations, women are more likely to seek and receive help than men. You've been introduced to who helps and whom they tend to help. Next, we'll cover the situational variables that predict when we help others, and we'll learn more about the bystander effect and ways to prevent it from happening.